Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and it's your Monday meta update, where I go over things going on in the MTG Arena meta esports world and stuff of that nature. A good amount of today we're going to talk about the upcoming Mythic Championship 7, the decks that are going to be popular going in, what's popular right now, and what might just perk up to surprise us. After that, I'm going to go over a few of my favorite new MTG Arena websites that I've been using that I think you should know about and will enjoy. And then the third thing I'm going to do is play a few games, like at least a game of Magic. So gameplay every day. It's still the CGB way, but these Monday meta updates you've enjoyed, so let's keep it going. It was a pretty slow week in the meta and on the ladder for the most part, especially in breaking news or new deck lists of any kind. The pros were preparing for Mythic Championship 7, which meant a lot of them were keeping their decks and their testing under wraps, as well as the Thanksgiving holiday, Black Friday shopping, and other things to contend with, especially in the US market. So we didn't see big tournaments or big tournaments results. Instead, we're preparing for the next tournament. The way that that's going to go is Mythic Championship 7, which takes place beginning on December 6th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll get into more of that here. This is the official Magic GG website that I'm going to embarrass briefly for fun and entertainment. Right here at the top, they've got this article about Stanislav Sivka, which I do recommend reading. They've got a countdown timer, and then they tell us what time to watch all the content on Twitch TV. Starting at December 6th at 9 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. PST. Probably the 5 p.m. UTC is right. One of these is probably right, and I have to believe what they mean is 9 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. EST. But just saying, guys. Just saying. You're just trying to make it awkward. I will be hosting a watch party for a good portion of the event. I may have to skip out on Saturday night to go attend a party, but a holiday party. 'Tis the season. But come check out my channel and we'll be watching a good amount of Mythic Championship 7 together. Now, I don't know about you, but I want more info. Interesting. A fluke, perhaps? Not a fluke. Well, it appears more info is only for special people not named CGB, for my access has been denied. That's what's going on. So tournament deck lists were actually already due. They were due just before Thanksgiving, so the competitors have submitted their deck lists. Typically, deck lists get published... Well, they've only done this for the Mythic, where they had them submit this early a few times, and usually they get published within a few days, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them till Thursday. But last time they published them on Monday or Tuesday, which is very exciting because we get to play around with the decks before they're actually played, and we get to know the meta. So right now we're all waiting for deck lists to be released. Stay tuned to Daily MTG and Magic.gg because they might put up the deck lists. Now, for the most part, we don't know what people are playing, so there's a little anticipation. Will it be the usual stuff that's been going on in the meta? Well, sometimes one of the most popular players who is actually not playing in this event, funny, who won the last event, very funny, can put out a tweet and he says, hey, I will stream these deck lists. He puts this out on Twitter. I will stream these deck lists if you tell me the list that you registered. Since registration already happened and the deck list will be published very soon, some people would say there's nothing to lose. There definitely still is something to lose for a competitor to publish here. And one of the biggest things that they can lose is if somebody cares enough, their competition have opportunities to play and test with the deck themselves and share their opinion. Straussky is roommates with Stanislav Sivka, the competitor pictured here. So Sivka, as well as anybody who watches his stream, can get his impressions of both how to play the deck and its weaknesses. But regardless, some people were happy to chime in. Not surprisingly, most of them were streamers or people who are not going to be qualified for the MPL next year. Luis Salvato shared this list, which is, well, it's a Nissa deck. It also has 4 Krasis and 2 Gadwick the Wizened. That's an insane amount of card draw, and it runs black only for Massacre Girl and Casualties of War. It also runs Circuitous Route and Cameo. This is a Go Big Sultai ramp control deck. It actually looks really cool. The amount of card draw alone makes me want to play it. So I like this deck. Like, that's pretty hype. Also, keep in mind while seeing these, you might get really MC hyped because there are a lot of new decks. Well, I don't think anybody's just going to share their Here's My Cat Oven deck, but let's find out. Numat the Nummy, popular streamer, excellent player. Teamer Reclamation. Actually, I said that we'll probably see all new stuff. This looks pretty stock Reclamation to me. I don't see a lot of things here that really blow my mind. But Nummy's not afraid to get his name out there. He's a streamer. He absolutely wants to continue getting his name out there, and he's also just a really kind, open dude. He'll share probably anything. You want his bank account number? Just ask him. Maybe. He's not stupid. I'm making a joke. I'm not implying he's stupid. Jess Estefan, first woman in the MPL, highest rated female player from last season. And she is not going to qualify for the MPL next year. It's already a done deal. She doesn't have enough points. That is going to be one of the key storylines of this coming MC, being the last of the year. There are two storylines: qualifying for Worlds and staying in the MPL. Some players are already ruled out. Other players are playing for the chance to stay in the MPL as it cuts from 32 players to 24. Jess is mathematically out. So nothing to lose. She shares a deck with an Izzet Flash deck. We all love this kind of deck, right? Counter your stuff, play threats, let you do nothing, do the thing myself. 3 Gadwick the Wizened in here. Good old Quench, everybody's favorite. 3 Rawls Outburst, pretty interesting take on the build. Then we've got Lexi. What's Lexi got here? Jeskai Fires Faye. So, what do we got? Anything fresh? It looks like your usual Fires deck. Aether Gust still in the main is interesting, but Aether Gust can be used to put Fires of Invention on top of your library if you need a turn where you cast 3 spells or more to stay in the game. The Fae of Wishes thing, we all know it by now. Play Fires, fetch good stuff from your sideboard. I don't see anything mind-blowing here except for Embercleave. So when the Cavaliers are doing their things, perhaps fetching an Embercleave to just win the game is an option. There's also the Planar Cleansing Nicole Bolas Dragon God combo to win the game out of nowhere. So that's what's been posted up so far, and the reason I found out about this tweet and found out how these deck lists were even made legal is transition. One of my new favorite websites. This is MTG Arena Zone. Somebody shared a list, or not a list, a link to this website in my Discord, which my Discord's free. There's a link in every description. You should join. You might get some cool Magic info and news. You might get news about me. You might just hear from other like-minded people who want to talk about decks and play the game. There are over 3,000 fans in the Discord. It's open to everybody. You don't have to be a member, subscriber, or Patreon to use the Discord. Some channels are Patreon only, but not many. All right, so this is MTG Arena Zone, and when I found this website, it kind of blew me away. It's a clean and lovely site with a lot of useful information on it, and it has a lot of pictures and graphics, which helps me. Right from the homepage, you can find the latest standard decks, which seems really recent. I hadn't seen the tweet replies to Andre Strosky, and when I saw this, I assumed the Mythic Championship decks were up. So the person handling this content on the site is trolling the Twitter and getting these things up fast. So you are getting the latest in awesome standard decks. There's also the latest historic decks, and it says where they come from. This person spends a lot of time on Twitch, as you can see. They have the ranking in Mythic that this deck achieved. Number 141 Mythic, number 291 Mythic, number 10 Mythic. So you can actually pick up ranked decks, which is something I don't see most places. I am sponsored by AetherHub. I have a kind of awesome arrangement with the owner of MTG Wikia on fandom, which, you know, and the MTG Duels Wikia. That guy is awesome and one of my longtime friends and supporters. I hope I don't put them down by talking nice about other websites, but I think it's important that I share what I find and what I enjoy using with all of you. So the latest Brawl decks, you've got a handful of Brawl decks, and you have deck guides, which from what I can tell are videos and guides written by the content producer on the site themselves. And there's a lot of stuff like updating a budget Rakdos deck, a Sultai Food survival guide, a Gruul aggro guide from, competitive standard, but then there's all these budget things too. So there's a lot of information here. The top Mythic ladder decks, like there's a lot of articles to click through and learn more about Magic. Another thing I like a lot is over here, the latest event and tournament lists. And these are from like the Historic Pauper event. If you need a list for Historic Pauper, you can go right here to the homepage, click here, and it will give you some ideas of lists from Historic Pauper. Ta-da! Plus, you also get information like the upgrade rate, the event rewards, like all of this information, that questions that people ask me every day that I can't usually find the answers to, that you'd think would be really easy to find in the client or from a wizard site. This site is doing it. So I want to give a lot of credit to where it's due, to the site for putting things together. Here's lists from MTGO Standard PTQ. Here's lists from the Historic Anthology launch event. Here's the list from Twitch Rivals. It's good stuff. Under guides, you can definitely go ahead and check out guides to various decks. I like the layout a lot. It's very straightforward. Just click kind of the thing that looks interesting to you. Articles, there's a lot of articles there, and there is something that I know a few people have been asking for a while, a standard tier list. So a metagame tier list. How exactly it's broken down seems to be a little bit of a, like, left it up to the authors and such. But here you go. They say tier 1 is Jeskai Fires, Jund Sacrifice, and Golgari Adventures, which mimics... This isn't to pat myself on the back, it's just kind of eerie. It mimics exactly what I said the best 3 decks were, I believe, in the last meta update. At tier 2, we have Rakdos Knight, Simic Flash, and Mono Red Aggro. I find the Red Aggro and Rakdos Knight surprising, and I have to play more with both, I guess, to see how they stand in this meta. Number 3, we have Gruul Adventures, Esper Control, Azorius Control, and Team Reclamation. I agree with the control decks being down here. They're not tuned well to meet the threats going on right now. Gruul Adventures might be better, and in fact, Adventure decks in better might be better than this is giving credit. Anyway, they also have these deck lists that you can click, and here you can click for articles and related archetypes for similar decks and things like that. The article goes on to talk about each individual deck. It's just really well done, and I hope they keep it up. It seems like a really excellent site, and that's why I want to give it a little bit of... I don't know, I got like 40,000 people watching this. If 10,000 of those read this site, that's probably a good boost for them, and hopefully it works. There are limited guides, there's an article for the MTG Arena codes, and it goes on. There's video content as well. There are tools like the Mastery Calculator, cards, like you can just look at lists of cards on here if you just want to explore what's in Theros. Maybe there will be future spoilers and things like that, but it's got a kind of a card viewing engine built in, and they've got a Discord, Facebook, Twitter. Go ahead and go say hello. I'm pretty excited. I'll have to register for it. I actually don't know what is for members, so I'll have to... It's probably all free right now. At least everything I've clicked on has been free. So check out MTG Arena Zone. So that's my featuring for that. And then here's the other feature, abruptly switching topics. ArenaBrawl.net. These fine folks reached out to me and asked me to talk about their website, and originally I was very much like, I'll try it, I'll use it at some point. What it said is it was going to be a matchmaking service for Brawl. So Wizards has famously just not given us a Brawl queue on MTG Arena, and that means you think you can only play Brawl on Wednesday. And then you hear about a website like arenabrawl.net, and you're like, sounds like work. Do I have to log in? What do I have to do? Really, all it is, exactly what it serves, is a queue to get you an opponent in Brawl. So you have two options. You have standard and historic Brawl. These are both Brawl. It's Q for Brawl. It's actual Brawl. And they want a reminder not to use Oko Thief of Crowns or Sorcerer's Spyglass because they're banned from Brawl. They are not banned from historic Brawl, but in paper they would be banned, and Brawl is only in standard. So there's no such format as historic Brawl except here. It's kind of controversial whether or not to use Oko and Spyglass in historic Brawl. Just to let you know, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm saying if you are an extremely empathetic person and you care how people feel a lot, you probably shouldn't use them in Historic Brawl. On the other hand, there are no real rules to Historic Brawl. So if you just really want to play with those cards, I don't think you're doing anything particularly wrong by doing it. I'm letting you know that some people find it controversial. And it is controversial. It is without question not clear if Oko should be legal in Brawl or Spyglass should be legal in Historic Brawl. All right, so what we're going to do is go ahead and transition into the gameplay of the day. I'm going to run my Vivian Brawl deck, which is a deck I've enjoyed playing with a lot, but didn't get to make a video for in the past. It's a mono green, aggressive Brawl deck built around Vivian Arcbow Ranger. Her ability to both come down and remove threats like other commanders, or also pump creatures to give trample and make them stronger so that there's a lot of pressure on the board, I think makes it a really good card. So that's what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you how to use arenabrawl.net. It's very simple. So we're going to go to our home, we're going to go to Direct Challenge, we're going to copy our direct challenge info. Then I'm going to pull up arenabrawl.net. I'm going to queue for standard Brawl. Going to put it in my digits, and we're going to hit find a game. Just like a queue on MTG Arena, you'll see a timer, you'll see a spinny wheel as it matches you with an opponent. Now when you look over here, some of these numbers don't sound very inspiring, but so far my queue times have been pretty reasonable. Some are downright fast. So let's hope that I'm not thrown under the bus here as I record this live. It is Black Friday morning. There might be some holiday hangover type stuff going on where people aren't waking up from their turkey coma just yet in the United States. So don't judge the queue time too harshly. When I used it on a typical day, it was very quick. So accept, and we'll hit, here is our opponent. They gave us an ID, so we'll go hit Control C. We'll go over here to our challenge match. Remember, we hit these swords, we hit this. Now we have to go down here to format. Deck type. Deck type Brawl. You have to change the deck type to deck type Brawl. This is the thing I most often forget. Put in your opponent's info, select your Brawl deck, hit the play button, and if all goes according to plan, you'll queue right up. The most common issue I've had with queuing up with my opponent is a bad copy paste. Make sure that you copy or type in this exactly as you see it and not with any extra spaces or characters around it. I think that one improvement that could be made is if they somehow made a window with a button that you could just hit for copy to copy the text exactly as it should be. So we've got a ramp creature. I always say that Brawl is about mana, and indeed here I believe it is, so we're going to keep our hand with our ramp creature, and away we go. I guess we can switch soundtracks now that we're in-game. Ooh, we drew Once Upon a Time just in time. So, Once Upon a Time, there was a Brawl deck with Yorvo and Thorn Mammoth. Well, we have up to 5 mana. That's a long way from 7 for a Thorn Mammoth, but we have nothing that removes anything other than our Vivian. Thorn Mammoth is very, very strong. Yorvo is also very, very strong, and I kind of think that the way that this game might go is turn 2 ramp creature, turn 3 ramp creature, and Yorvo. So I think that's the take. Being up against a Yara, I know my opponent wants to get a Yara on the battlefield right away, so we're going to need an answer in the very near future. And we'll play the Leafkin Druid because it's big enough to avoid a Disfigure if the opponent should have that 1 mana -2/-2 removal spell. All right, I think this is the play. We'll get Yorvo down and say go. So now we have something to fight the Ayara with when we play our Vivian. No, we don't. Got murdered. Fortunately, though, our opponent can't make any other plays. So now what? If we play Nullhide Ferox, it makes Vivian more expensive, which is really not the goal. So this feels like it's a mana creature type of thing. One reason perhaps I should have played the Incubation Druid despite a potential disfigure was because Vivian can put a counter on the Druid, and then the Druid can make a ton of mana. So we want to get the Druid down this turn, and we'll get the Paradise Druid down, and hope the opponent doesn't touch Incubation Druid. Because Vivian can come down, put a counter over here. No! No swamp, no swamp, no! Oh. See? You're so vulnerable. You're so vulnerable. You just die so easily. But yeah, this is a Friday morning, and I am playing Brawl, despite Wizards' best efforts to keep the queue frickin' closed and hard to use. So I'm feeling accomplished today. Yeah, let's go big boy. We need something big and hard to kill. I don't like having the Pelt Collector out there, but it might be a targeted by Dread Presence, but Paradise Druid was already in that camp, so I'd rather they killed the Pelt Collector than the Druid. Ow. That's pretty bad. That cuts off our mana a significant amount. Cry of the Canarium in your Ayara First of Locthwain deck. It's probably not the deck I thought it would be, to be honest. At this point, I'm looking at this deck and I'm saying, wow, you are a black control deck. All right, Viv, I guess you have a job to do. This gives Rats Menace, but our opponent doesn't control one yet. We can generate a bunch of mana here. We can use that mana to activate the Ferox here. We can play Vivian. No, we can't. I'm an idiot. The mana can't be used to cast Planeswalkers. I blame the meta update. Shame Concede is the only play. Shame Concede is the only play. Must shame concede when you do that poorly. I'll try queuing up again. Okay, well, in case you thought I was some god of magic who didn't make mistakes, which you shouldn't, that is obviously an indicator you don't watch the channel completely. There's one for you. The mana can only be used to cast creatures and use creature abilities. How many times do I need to be reminded about that? How many times? All right, same opponent. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down again if they're down. I think that they're definitely advantaged in a matchup of like black control against mono green. Oh, they queued up with a Mardu Knights list. Okay. They grabbed something fresh. I have Once Upon a Time again. Oh goodness. All right. Well, that's fun. It's a good card. We'll try to use it right after our first draw step to try to hit a 1-mana accelerant. And we do, actually. Let's go. Next turn, we can hit a Beanstalk Giant, potentially. And then if we draw a land the turn after that, have access to 5 mana. Yeah, we're drawing a lot of land. This is going according to plan. Mana, mana, mana. You know I believe, if you watch my Brawl videos, that I'm all about that mana. Oathsworn Nighty Night. Nullhide Ferox again. So this card might just need to come out of the deck, as I do have plenty of spells, including my commander, but I'm not ready to cut ties with this. So let's get the Incubation Druid down this time. Make the opponent deal with that. I guess I should have played Yorvo first. Then I'd have a 5/5. What is with me today? I am all kinds of screwed up. We'll just reveal how bad I am at this game. What is your problem today, CGB? What is the matter with you? We could have had a blocker for this Oathsworn Knight, although I'm not even sure I want to block it, to be honest. It could have tricks. It could be tricksy hobbitses. No blocks, we can take the damage for now. I'd prefer to use the Grazer to protect Vivian when she's on the battlefield. Even if you have a card that's probably your chump blocker, there's no reason to chump block early when you have a Planeswalker. Let's go. You. Now let's play you, because this makes more mana now. Make our giant 6/6 to do some blockage. You have Death Touch? I guess I'm not attacking. Feels bad. But our commander's down, our board is thick. Now we're doing it. This is the way Magic's supposed to be played. We're setting up for our Karn's Bastion to make our whole squad amazing. Icon of Ancestry. I bet that names knights. It does. Corpse Knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life. And a whole bunch of damage coming my way. This is indestructible. This has Death Touch. So, let's put you here and you here. This will get rid of the commander, and this will absorb the hit from the Oathsworn Knight. Alright, next play. We have a lot of mana. We can play the Beanstalk Giant. We could also play the Brontodon, put a counter on the Grazer and the Brontodon and proliferate, which I really like. It can also blow up the icon at instant speed, which is pretty good. Yeah, let's attack with our 7/7, right? And let's do that before we move our counters around with Vivian. Now, Vivian's -5 does not work in Brawl. Don't do it. Sideboards are banned in Brawl. You can't even have a sideboard. So you can't fetch anything with the -5. It just does nothing. It's a very feels bad, I admit, but it's absolute nothing. I wonder if I just play the Giant here, actually, rather than use the Bastion. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Giant. He's big. He's a beefy boy. Hard to deal with. That's a lot of power and toughness on the battlefield. A lot. And if we put a counter on it next turn, gains trample, we can grow with Bastion. Oh yeah, it's a headache. Mace of the Valiant comes down. It's an equipment that doesn't have much impact on the battlefield. It's really not what you're looking for. Beanstalk Giant will knock a counter off this Oathsworn Knight. He'll draw the land. Good game. You won the first one to the Shane Scoop. Second one was mine. I hope that you enjoyed today's video with the Monday meta update. I hope you'll go visit Arena Zone, MTG Arena Zone, and arenabrawl.net. I'll put some links in the description. Those websites I have found really awesome for the last week, so go give them some traffic. If you make an account or anybody asks you for comments or you get a chance to post where they're from, say CGB sent you. And yeah, enjoy the content from those sites. And of course, enjoy the videos here on channel CGB. And get excited for the upcoming watch party coming this weekend for Mythic Championship 7, the final Mythic Championship of the year. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.